Welcome back. Now we have to get more, don't we, on the massive transfer that's been confirmed this evening. It may be a free, but surely one of the most significant football transfers in recent history. Kylian Mbappe has been confirmed as a Real Madrid player. It's a 5-year contract and probably the worst kept secret in football. We've known it's been coming for months, not least because he promised the French president, Emmanuel Macron, just earlier today. Let's get more from French football expert Jonathan Johnson, who joins us now. Jonathan, great to see you. I mean, we knew this was coming, didn't we? We've known about it for months. It's a dream come true for Kylian Mbappe, surely a dream come true for Real Madrid, who have just been crowned as Champions League winners. It really feels like a match made in heaven, Jonathan.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it gets much better for Real Madrid at this moment in time. La Liga champions, Champions League winners for a record-extending 15 time, and now just a casual Monday flex of being able to sign or announce the signature of Kylian Mbappe as well. So very good past couple of days for the Spanish Giants, and really quite a terrifying prospect, I think, for the rest of Europe and clubs that want to try and challenge the supremacy of Los Blancos. And it's, I think something, certainly from the French point of view, that has been coming for some time, and, there needed to sort of be a logical conclusion to this saga. It had dragged on at moments when people didn't think that it could drag on anymore. And now I think, certainly in time for the Euros, that it's probably come at the right time for everybody. And people will be probably breathing a sigh of relief as much as anything, the fact that there's not going to be tons of Kylian Mbappe transfer speculation in the newspapers this summer.
Yeah, it did drag on, didn't it? And I mean, PSG fans, they've had a lot to celebrate having Kylian Mbappe as their player, their record goal scorer. Has he impacted his reputation with the club, with the fans, because it played out in the way that it did?
I certainly think there's been moments where, that relationship has been tested and sort of pushed to its limits. I certainly think that Mbappe's relationship with the PSG leadership will probably remain a little more frosty than it might do with PSG supporters. Certainly once, a bit of time sort of elapses. Obviously there was disappointment immediately that Mbappe had opted to move on and go to Real Madrid because everybody knew where he would be going. But also at the same time, I think there's a recognition that it was the best thing for the player and probably the best thing for the club, and maybe you could even argue for the league as well, to sort of step out of Mbappe's shadow, allow him to strike out on his own, and we'll see sort of what the next couple of years have in store. Obviously there'll be plenty of people wanting to know when Mbappe and PSG might cross paths again in the Champions League, but I think Mbappe, generally speaking, leaves France with a sense of accomplishment, having done as much as he could in the club game, because let's not forget, it's not just PSG we're talking about, it's Monaco as well, where he burst onto the scene and caught the eye of everybody and enjoyed a very good Champions League run with them as well. But sort of in terms of what he's managed to do, both for himself on an individual level, but collectively with PSG, but also for the league in terms of some of the records that he's, broken and sort of rewritten, it's going to be difficult for anyone to live up to, the high bar that Kylian Mbappe has set. So I do think there's many people in France who sort of see him going and sort of give him their blessing, as well as there are some who, will be frustrated about the way, that it did sort of pan out eventually, not least, in terms of the PSG leadership.
Yeah, Jonathan, Kylian, one of the superstars of world football. I wonder where this transfer ranks for Real Madrid, who have had some absolute icons in their team over the years, Roberto Carlos and David Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo, and you could go on and on and on, Zinedine Zidane. Where does this rank, signing Kylian Mbappe?
Well, I think in terms of the name, certainly in terms of the buzz, this is probably up there in terms of impact with Zinedine Zidane when he joined Real Madrid. The sort of Zidane having won the Ballon d'Or before he joined Real. Mbappe obviously hasn't done that yet, so he's going to Real in order to win it, as many players have done before him. In terms of sort of value for money, I think we all know that while this is technically a free transfer in terms of there being no direct transfer fee changing hands between Real and PSG, there is also an aspect of this, a big financial aspect of this in terms of what Mbappe will be paid per his contract for the next 5 years, the signing on fee and everything. So it's not essentially, a free transfer as people make out, but it has the potential to really pay off for Real. You look at what Mbappe has already achieved in his career, what he's got left that he wants to do, certainly in terms of winning the Champions League, becoming a Ballon d'Or winner. There's a lot for him to sink his teeth into at Santiago Bernabeu. So I think that this does have the potential for Real to be a huge coup, and obviously in terms of the name, the prestige, Kylian Mbappe being arguably the biggest name in world football right now, it's already a massive success. You only have to look at the media reaction in the last hour since the transfer was announced. Real Madrid's website crashed just days after they won the Champions League for the 15th time. It's the place to be, arguably, in club football right now.
It really is the place to be, because you look at the players that he'll be joining, Jonathan. Oh my goodness me. The other teams in Europe just must be holding their hands up, being like, well, what's the point? And then they've got Kylian Mbappe after becoming a record-extending Champions League champions. They've got Enderick coming. They've already got players like Camavinga. I mean, this is an incredible Real Madrid team. What could they achieve next season?
Yeah, it's very impressive. You look at what Real Madrid managed to do this season with a number of key players out injured pretty much for the entirety of the campaign. The likes of Courtois, the likes of Alaba, the likes of Militao as well. So, to have those guys coming back to the squad, it's almost going to be like a bunch of new signings. Arda Güler, who was brought in last summer, didn't really get to play. I know he came back into the fold for the final few months of the season, but he was out for a large chunk of the campaign as well. That's almost like 4 new signings. You mentioned Endrick, on top of Mbappe as well. That's 6. Obviously, tearful farewell for Toni Kroos. He may well still sign off with success on home soil with Germany at the Euro this summer, but in terms of his club football, that's finished now. Luka Modric announcing that he'll be staying on, so keeps a bit of the technical brilliance and the experience that he brings in that midfield. But it really is a frightening prospect, the thought that Real Madrid's sort of dominance in Europe, especially when you look at sort of the last 5 to 10 years, might not be ending. It might just be warming up with the addition of Mbappe.
Oh my, just warming up. Oh my goodness me. This is a team that I suppose as a football fan I would watch throughout my childhood and think, oh my God, they're so great. Now they might have just taken it to that next level. I suppose with this announcement, Jonathan, it was important that Kylian Mbappe was able to get this out the way and into the public domain before he focuses and knuckles down with France for the Euros.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's now going to be all eyes, on the Euros. There was another big announcement in French football earlier today with the Olympic squad. France only named 2 overage players. There is potentially a third slot still available, but Kylian Mbappe wasn't on that list. We know that Real Madrid's stance regarding the Olympics is not a positive one, so there is major doubt about whether Mbappe will be able to participate in the Olympics after the Euros. But in terms of his focus, obviously he'll be going there as captain of the French team, and now Didier Deschamps will demand full focus from Mbappe on his international duty over the coming month or so. And it's it's a big summer as well for a number of Real Madrid stars. Obviously we've seen the likes of Bellingham, Vinny Jr. as well, picking up a Champions League and La Liga double. That's going to be very difficult for Mbappe to top. You'd argue that he has to win or lead France to success in the Euro to have a chance of potentially beating one of those two to the next Ballon d'Or title. And if Mbappe was in some way to be allowed to participate in the Olympics, potentially that would offer him another route to a second potential success as well that would be out of reach for Vinny Jr. And Bellingham. But at this moment in time, I think the only thing that Mbappe can focus on and the only thing that he'll want to focus on is doing as well as he can with France at the Euros. Because you look at the group that they're in, it's already pretty tricky with the Netherlands, Austria and Poland as well. So France are going to have their work cut out of them, but they do come into the tournament as sort of pre-campaign favourites for a reason. And I think now with the question of his future settled, the announcement made official, not just in terms of him leaving PSG, but also being a Real Madrid player from next season onwards, I think that'll give him the serenity that he needs in order to focus and really knuckle down to the task in hand.
Yep, and knuckle down, I'm sure he will. He's joining a team with the likes of Vinny Jr., Bellingham, Valverde, Camavinga. Oh my goodness. Don't know about you, Jonathan, but I cannot wait to watch Real Madrid next season. Thanks for your thoughts.